How do small startups attract the big partnerships they need to succeed? Today, we talk with Darren Feher of Vizbee about how he bootstrapped his way to collaborations with Fortune 500 media companies and how his partnership with Johnnie Walker at Rooled helped him do it. Welcome back to another edition of The Angel Nest, where real angel investors and entrepreneurs partner to build great companies. I'm David Hemingway. I'm a 5-time founder and now an active angel investor, and my mission here is to tell the stories that are powering innovation. If you've ever wondered how the content from all your internet devices syncs up and even matches what you watch on smart TV, our guest today can explain. Darren Feher is the founder of Vizbee. Their software allows your mobile devices to sync seamlessly behind the scenes and even helps deliver the content that you actually want to see. We're also joined by Johnnie Walker, the co-founder of Rooled Outsourced Accounting, CFO, and Advisory Services. Johnnie and his team have been working with Vizbee since the beginning. Darren, congratulations on building such an amazing company, and I really want to hear how you were able to partner with, big media companies so early. But first, if you would, give us a 30-second tutorial on how Vizbee works that even a non-technical guy like me can understand.
Happy to. Well, first of all, you can think of Vizbee as the name as sort of a slight euphemism for video frisbee. And our tagline is play catch with your TV. I think as consumers, we all have realized that the transition of television and film from cable or even broadcast to streaming on all your devices is clearly here. And what Vizbee is all about is making all the apps in which you can enjoy great content, television content, sports content that are in your home on various devices, including your phone and your TV devices. They all behave like one app with intimate knowledge of you. So if you like a sports app, like for example, we just did March Madness with TBS, TNT, and CBS. If you like sports content and you wanted to watch a basketball game and you download it on your phone, well, with Vizbee, by the time you get home into your house, that app is already installed on all of your streaming devices, your Fire TV, your Chromecast, your Xbox, your Samsung, your Vizio TV. So if you have a smart TV or a streaming device, what Vizbee does is from the mobile app, we automatically detect all the devices in your home. We create at the software level, a cross-device fabric in the home that allows all your devices to know about each other, synchronize. And for the consumer, that means you have just a seamless cross-device experience. So you can discover content on your phone, and with one tap, it'll start playing in your living room. The phone becomes a remote control. You never have to pick up that physical brick with up, down, left, right to put in your password again. It just logs you in.
So, Johnnie Walker, you and your team at Rooled, which you're based in California, but you operate all over the U.S., and you've really partnered with Vizbee from the beginning, right? It sounds like you were not only doing accounting services, but also providing some CFO support.
Yes, thank you, David. Yeah, we have worked with Vizbee since one of the first early rounds of fundraising performed by the company, which is really the ideal time to get engaged with a white glove service, an accounting service that really is going to give you the visibility and the reliability in the financial reporting. And I think when I look back at the time of working with Darren and his team, we've had the best of both worlds. We've had an accounting function that's really delivered that reliable reporting, but we've been able to overlay on top the CFO function that's given Darren a very clear understanding for where the business is going from a financial standpoint. And because of the depth of experience we've had with Darren, we've been able to optimize that. We've been able to make it very efficient. And, Darren's impressive in so many ways, but one element where we really see an amazing level of resource is being able to optimize and maximize the efficiency that Darren gets from the cash that he has raised from equity investors. And that, I would say that he's been able to do that to greatest effect because he's had very strong visibility on the cash runway, how the business is performing, and we've been able to give that information to him, which we've been thrilled about.
So, Darren, as you've been putting together these partnerships and soliciting investment, how important, was the financial infrastructure and accounting functions that Johnnie and his team were providing, early on, right up to today?
Well, when you start a company from zero, cash is air. And so if you want to breathe, you've got to manage cash very tightly. But moreover than that, especially when you're building sort of you have a big vision and you're building something that you think will be a big company someday. You start small, but you got to play like you're big. So part of the dance is really, to be very lean, be very responsible about capital efficiency. You only want to raise as little as possible. Obviously, you're caring about your founding team. You want to manage the right amount of cash, but the right amount, limit the right amount of dilution. You don't know how many cycles you're going to go through, but yet you got to play like you're a big company if your customers are multi-billion dollar, in my case, media businesses. So part of the art of the dance is to make sure that, and again, finance being the language of business, your finance functions got to be there at the pace in which you're operating at a very, early stage, rapid pace startup. You've got to be able to project the professionalism to customers so they think you're much bigger than you are. But all the way along the way, you've got to manage it like your checkbook. And so that you don't run out of cash, but you don't take too much cash that breeds bad behavior or over dilutes, that you can manage successfully through the cycles of an early stage. And I think that, with Johnnie and Rooled, they've been able to do that. Specifically, I was introduced to Johnnie by one of my angel investors, and it was, well, look, I'm pretty good with a spreadsheet. My background, I came up through pretty good financial management pedigree. I can manage the books, but I don't have time to do that as a startup CEO. And I need someone who can do the tactical stuff, but also when I'm thinking and just brainstorming about, well, how do we package and price a new product, and what will be the financial impact or the timing of cash management or ARAP impact of the way we package and price or license software, I can have a strategic conversation, and then that turns around to be tactically implemented all within an hour or two. And that's really what I would say, that and do that where it doesn't break the bank when we're managing this company like our checkbook. So I think that Johnnie and the Rooled team have been really that for us. They've been able to be super responsive, be able to be to be relatable both on a strategic and a tactical level, and operate with a level of earnestness and personal touch required when you're a very early stage company building for a later stage.
Darren, you mentioned how you were referred to Johnnie by one of your angel investors. And, all of us in the angel investing area have founders who just don't see the priority in getting their numbers together and having a consistent reporting system around their accounting. And you clearly embraced that early on, and it seems to have contributed to your success.
Well, sure. A lot of people, obviously, when you're doing early stage companies and startups, a lot of people like to point at those unicorns, but there's also a lot of gravestones. And the way that you get a chance to make it to the 1% is you got to be able to avoid a lot of near-death experiences. And and you can't control the macro market timing or macro conditions. So one of the things you can control is, how tightly you manage your cash and your financials, one, so that you have the ability to react, but, also so that you can adjust, as the external environment changes on you, which is not in your control.
Johnnie, is that the best kind of relationship where you really are part of the team, right? You're really involved in the strategy of the business?
Yeah, I think for us to deliver the kind of service that we target, it does depend upon having a great relationship with the founder and the founding team. And we clearly have that in this situation in our engagement with Darren, which we're very, very proud. And I think that gives us like a clear and very deep understanding of where the business is at and where it's going. And then we can really help set expectations for Darren as to what he can get from us and what we can do. So that bidirectional relationship really gives us a chance to provide maximum value to the client, which has been extremely enjoyable in the case of Vizbee.
So Darren, bring us up to date. What's Vizbee doing now, and what does the next year or two look like?
A lot of growth. For us, we kind of are growing on a couple of different axes. Certainly there's a lot of streaming apps out there, and they're growing and changing. And so we're continuing to grow our footprint and trying to help great brands, extend their audience across all devices in the home. But from a consumer experience perspective, we're also innovating. So one of the pieces of our puzzle is that all the devices in the home are also synchronized in real time. So that means that you watch something on the TV, well, a corresponding interactive event can show up on your phone in real time. So that opens the doorway for a lot of what we call community experiences or shared viewing experiences. So things like inviting your friends to a viewing party to binge a series at a certain period of time in a way where you can just talk. Your phone microphone will pick it up, and the audio will play out in someone else's home in sync, where you can chat, where there can be voting and polling. So we also see gaming coming in a big way, where you can obviously not just because the regulatory environment of betting is shifting, but just interactivity in general. So we see a lot of immersive experiences changing in and around content, watching and shopping. All that is finally becoming a reality. And one of the foundational building blocks is cross-device, or in our case, phone and TV synchronization. So we see a lot of innovation on the product experience coming. We see more and more, great content brands sort of realizing that it's got to be really simple for consumers, right? You can't. It just has to work. If you sign up even on your mobile bill now, you'll see carrier-based billing for a streaming service, and you tap a button. It should just be there in every room in your house. And it should automatically be logged in and know about your preferences or your playlist or your shopping cart in every device in your home. So those are the types of things that are coming for Vizbee and that we're really excited about innovating on.
That's just amazing. Every time you think technology can't get any more fascinating, right? More possibilities open up. Although I have to tell you, and it's surprising, but in my household, I think we're ahead of the curve because we've been watching and shopping for a long time. So.
Well, yes, I think there's something like the latest number I heard was over 60 million people watch with their phone, obviously the whole time they're viewing on TV. Now, the synchronization piece makes that much more of a compelling proposition if you can be offered a deal. Sure. And it's relevant to what your interests are.
Exactly. Darren and Johnnie, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on creating some truly amazing technology, and just as important, the ability to get the attention of the big partners that you needed to grow the market. It's just tremendous.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Darren. Thank you, David.
You can find contact information for our guest today at our website, theangelnest.com, where you can also reach me if you know of a company or an exciting opportunity we should talk about. My email is david@theangelnest.com. I'm David Hemingway. We produce The Angel Nest with help from David Newhoff at the beautiful Art Deco Film Center building just outside of Times Square in New York. Thanks for listening, and here's hoping my fellow investors and the founders they support find their next great venture. So long until next time.